Okay, so today's target species is the barbel, and we're going to be fishing with the float and centre pin. So we're not going to be casting far, we're just going to be stooging around in the margins. Now, as you can see from a couple of weeks ago, the river was quite low and it's now come up about 1.5 meters. So the fish are going to be fairly well distributed throughout the length of the river. But as we've got 2 miles of bank to choose from, it is worth taking a bit of time to find the swim that is just what we're looking for. Ideally, we're looking for an area where the main flow of the river is going by, but there's a back eddy or a slack right in by the bank, preferably with a feature, say tree roots, overhanging bushes, or even reeds. So we can just drop a bait into the flow and let the current bring it round, just bumbling along on the bottom, on the gravel, so that it comes in toward the bank and just settles beside a feature or in a little back eddy or slack water, where we hope that the fish will be lying up waiting for food to just drift into them. Now here we've got a swim that looks just about right. So we're just going to drop a bait into the flow and see how it reacts. Ideally, we want the bait, as I said, to just bumble along the bottom and drift in toward the bank, in under those tree roots down by my left there. But no, it looks as if this swim, the pace of the water is just that too much. The weight of the float is dragging the bait up off the ground, so we're probably going to have to go and have a look at somewhere better.
Alright, so we moved a little way down the river, and that looks like a nice little spot there. If we can get the bait to stay still on the bottom and the float not to drag it away. So I'll just come down these very handy steps very quietly, bumping around, jumping and bouncing, banging. Just put the net down where we can get at it quickly. Oops, a little handrail here to rest the rod on. Alrighty, today we are going to be fishing with the trusty centre pin, which I think is a TF Gear Classic. Not expensive. I've used more expensive ones and this one's just as good. 8-pound main line, straight through. Show you the float. I use these because they tend not to break when you get snagged up in the bushes, because these fish will take you into the bushes. So with a nice stainless steel core like that, they tend not to snap, get busted up. I've no idea who makes this, but it just says a Premier 4 gram, I don't know, whatever. We'll start off at 6 foot depth-ish, because the river's up a bit. We're not quite sure of the depth here in front of us, but we'll start at 6 foot and then work our way down to the bottom. We're going to try and hold bottom just off where that flow is, because we know that there's another platform down below us, so we don't want to be fishing on top of that. We want to be off the path, off the bank, but we just have to watch out for snags. Oh, kingfisher. Nice to see. Right, okay, back to the rig. So a foot from the bait we've got a line of lead-free shot to try and hold it on the bottom, if any, because really we want that on the bottom, so the float is just cocked, and then a foot 18 inches behind it we have a size 4 with a piece of luncheon meat as usual. So we're now going to just drop this out and see what happens. We're aiming for just drop it in the flow and then pull it in just off the flow so it stooges around just in this little back eddy here. Hopefully, probably some chub and possibly some barbel, will be hunkering down, stooging around with their noses in the bottom, looking for tasty morsels. Now that is moving away at quite a rate of knots, but we'll let it go. We'll let it trot on down. There we are. Let it trot on down and see if there's anybody at home. And it's gone under, but that's not a fish. That's a piece of rubbish. Okay, so it looks like it could be just on the bottom there. So, slightly shorter cast, just there. Let's see what happens now. And that is still trotting down. And it's come right into the bank now. So we're still not on the bottom. We'll bring that in. Slide the float up a foot, 18 inches. It's about half a metre to you youngsters. So you can see the depth we're at now, and we just plop that there and see what happens. And that's still flowing away quite heftily. Let it trot on down. Trot on down. Right. Let's add a bit more depth, and we'll keep going until we get snagged on the bottom for good. And sliding the float up, I find it easier to wrap the line around your little finger just to hold it tighter. Otherwise it just slides, and the float slides a bit better. Right, we're going to give ourselves a bit more line. Nottingham cast. Finger and thumb. Take a loop of line each. And draw those off the reel. That gives you just enough slack. So drop it there. And see if we can get that to settle. It for now. Just gently like that. Holding back quite a bit. Holding back quite a bit. And just inching the line off like that. Just very gently feeding the line off. Well, that's just sitting in on the side of the bank now, in the margin. That's pretty much where we want it. What we don't know, of course, is whether that bait is on the bottom or not. But we'll just leave that there for now, to see what happens. Time now, 10 to 10. Now, right in below the reeds, on the side of the bank. Perfect spot for pike bait, by the way. But we're not fishing for pike yet. Ideal conditions for it, but it's a bit early in the year. We tend to wait until November before we start annoying old Esox. Oh, something's happening. Bounce, bubble, bounce. Something's lifted the bait off the bottom, and it's now either swimming off downriver or it's just dislodged the bait, and that's gone. Now that could well be a bite. Shall we hit it? Yes. Oh, yes. Well, you said to hit it, not me. Oh, let's pull in. It feels like a chub. Not a huge fish. Try. No, don't go in the reeds. Don't go in the reeds. So what's that? Oh, 4 minutes. Now we're in trouble because the float's now got to the rod tip. So we're going to have to land this with whatever light. Oh, don't go to the tree. I haven't even seen it yet. Oh, there we are. Hey, what a surprise! It's a chub. Ta-da! Simple as that, boys and girls. Simple as that. Wasn't that fun? Right. Now, yeah, okay. Now I noticed when I was bringing it in, the hook is right in the top of the mouth, right inside. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift it out onto this long wet grass, and I've got my forceps. Not my usual forceps, I can't find my usual forceps, but I've got these forceps which are normally for pike. But if you've got forceps, then you can, even if it's a barber's hook, you can get it out really easy. Now we're going to lift it out, and we're going to put it on the bank, like that, and we're going to fold the net over it, so it can't flounce and bounce around. Oh, see what's happening? It tries to thrash about and nothing happens. And I do believe the barber's hook is just in the mouth there. So I reach down right inside with the forceps and just gently lift it out like that. So easy. Make sure the fish isn't caught up in the line. Now, I think what's happened is the shot has fallen through the gaps in the net. So what we're going to do, clamp, because these clamp, they clamp on the hook, and I can lay that down. Now I can gently take the fish, oh, make sure it doesn't go out of the net, and have a look at it. See, nice fish, nice job. And we'll just gently slide it back in the water like that, and there it goes. And releasing the fish like that, it's still in the margin here. Can you see that weed moving? Look. It's still just in the margin here. So there it is, it's actually swum back. It's right in front of me. Now there's no way that that fish is going to spook any others in there, in the river. So you don't need keep nets in river fishing. All this thing about putting the fish back in. Now you see what's happened with these shot? That one slid. We've obviously got caught up in something, so we just gently slide that back. And now that's another good thing that we could use these forceps for, especially if you're old like me and your teeth are a bit brittle. Check that knot. Is when you get your shot on and you want to just make sure they're firm. You don't have to graunch it up too tight, but you just nip like that and it just sets them on there. Because you think we're fishing with a lot of rubbish in the river. There's all sorts of twigs and branches and weed and stuff like that that we can get hooked up on. And you don't want your shot flying off, getting caught up or anything like that. So anyway, a lot of fun, wasn't it? Right, shorten it by just over a foot, or about 400 mil, and we'll see how that goes depth-wise. I think we're now off the bottom, or if we are on the bottom, we're only just on the bottom. We'll let that trundle down, as it wants to do. That's alright, just hold it back slightly. Just keep in contact with the float. There we are, hold that back. Now the way to find if it's actually on the bottom or not is to hold like that, and if the float swings in towards the bank, then obviously it's not on the bottom, is it? So you just let that trundle down gently. Oh, now that's stopped there. So we'll leave that there. Let's stop moving, let's stop going down. Let's sort of probably hung up on a log. But that looks good. That looks good. I like that. In direct contact with the float. I reckon the bait is just holding on the bottom. We're in a nice little back eddy there. It's not pulling the float under. And that's where we hooked that last one. Oh, just give it a little bit of line, see if it goes anywhere. It's hard to tell if that's me making the float, but yes it is. Now we'll just let it come in by those reeds, bottom of those reeds there. Now we've got direct contact with that float with the line, it's virtually straight. Float is easy to see, bait is well positioned, tight in against the bank at the base of those big reeds. Because normally you can walk along between this grass and those reeds as a path. The river's up a bit, and so we're fishing back here on the bank a bit. I reckon that's about right. And you see how that float drifted back out and away again? So that means that bait is somewhere just on the bottom. So now the float's now gently drifting back. I reckon that's good. We could go a little bit deeper. We could slide that float back up the line, because I reckon we're just off the bottom now, or the weight is anyway. Let's leave it there and see what happens. Oh, there we go. Oh, and we missed it. That is the first one I've missed in this season, I think. Just gently, slowly drift back down where we were. Just ever letting millimetres of line out at a time. Using my thumb to control the reel. Can you see that? See how much line's going out there? Just a few mil. And that just lets it slowly drift down. Right, we're back where we were. Oh, that's a chill wind today. Sunny. Chill wind. Right, we're going to leave. Now, what that could have been, I think it could even have been a roach. Because there are some big roaches in here. I see that's just stooging around in that little back eddy nicely now. Right at the bottom of those rings. Come on, fish. The viewers are waiting. If that float doesn't go down soon, people are going to skip forward in the video. Which they're entitled to do, but they might miss it. Oh, there we go. Now that's better. Well, you see the bubbles come up. Oh, that's a nice fish. Now, can you see the bend in that one? See the bend in that rod? Now that fish is boring down deep, which suggests it could be a barbel. But we're not. We're just going to let it hang there for now. There's no point bullying it. That, I think, could be a barbel, simply because, see how it's pulling down like that, not sort of swimming around, it's just pulling away all the time. So we're just going to let it you won't believe this, but I have just managed a one-handed battery change in this camera because it died on me, and I'm still playing that fish, and it will not come up off the bottom. This has got to be a barbel, and a good one. Look at the way it's pulling that rod. Oh, I can actually saw the float then. That means I'm only 8 feet away. Now, no. It's just going down and coming up and going down. Oh, we're getting some line on it now. This is where it's going to go absolutely bananas and head for the tree. Right, let's try and grab the net. Hang on, I'm going to have to change the angle on this camera, I think, because I don't want you to miss seeing this fish before it... Oh. Right, we're going to go down a step into the flood waters. Whoa, big swirl on the surface. It's now heading for that tree. Oh, there it is. There's a fish. It is a fish. Haven't seen what it is, but it's definitely acting like a barbel. I got it. Oh no! I can feel something on the line. Then that did not feel good. Hopefully, it was just on its tail or fin. Right, it's coming up. Oh, no! Don't go in those weeds. Don't. Oh, that's a nice one. Come on, you're coming in now, kid. Come on. Over the net and in the net. Whew. And there it is, in there somewhere. Right, same as the chub, just going to lose the rod behind us. Now what we might do is we might unhook this one while it's still in the net. I can see the hook. I've got it with the pincer, with the... Oh, stop wriggling. Hook's out. Fish is still in the net, albeit upside down at the moment. Come on. Turn over, silly. That's it. Now we just leave that to rest in there. Now we're going to do the same as last time, because we don't have weighing scales. We're going to use this salmon net to do the weighing for us. And we do that by pulling this handle off, and in there, you see, there's weighing scales. And should we do it in kilos or pounds? We'll try and do it in pounds now. Where's pounds? That's pounds. Right, so we leave the fish in the water. Right, now we lift it up and we hold it up like that. And we try and get the camera on there. Oh, keep still. I can see the top of the 10, so that's got to be... Oh, I'm going to claim a double figure. Yay! Oh, now you look at that fish. Does that look like a double figure fish to you? Put it back in the water.